Hush now, a new day has come. And it seems that, according to the song, it occurs when we've been touched by an angel of love. And so that seems pretty consistent with what we talk about here. And a new day implies that there has been a call for something new. And I don't know about you guys, but lately, especially the last week or two, just seems like things in the world are falling apart at times. At least when I look and focus on certain things. When I look and focus on the news and the media and happenings in the world, sometimes it doesn't seem like a new day has come, or perhaps that the new day that I thought had come had somehow gotten washed away. And it makes no sense to me. Sometimes when I look in the direction of the world of appearances and I see what's going on. And so what I'm speaking of here and what I wanted to address for a period of time today is the happenings in Charlottesville and the whole idea of what is going on and the polarization that perhaps when we're watching this that we see in the world. I know what my proclivity is. My proclivity is to cast blame. My proclivity is to take a side because it sure seems as if there are clear sides. And my proclivity is to make statements that might be provocative in the face of all of this, in the face of the other side, in fact. And so what was said was something like that there was blame on all sides. And the world railed at that comment. And I want to tweak it a little bit. I want the people in this room to begin to, when we see these things, when we see conflict and strife and war, and when we see what we call atrocities or racism, or when we see that somebody is being hurt or harmed, or somehow separated out from the rest of the world, what I want us to begin to do is to take a breath and to pause and to not go to our reactionary state of positions and positionality. Now, I know that that's a really hard call right now, but what I know that when I looked at it in the beginning, I saw hate. I saw hate. When I looked again beneath the hate, I saw fear. I saw fear. I don't know anything that propels people to behave in such ways as we've witnessed other than fear and other than separation. And so for me, it becomes an opportunity to rise above and to look at the fear that is on all sides. That there is a fearfulness that is going on, and it's called the fear connected with the whole concept and the whole idea of separation. The whole concept and the whole idea, contrary to what we stand for here, which is unity, which means that we are one, which means that all are welcome, which means that we don't cast another aside. And so I'm inviting us to begin to realize that we live in a reflective universe, and that reflective universe is mirroring to us exactly where our healing within is. And our topic is about healing and wholeness this month. And so what we happen to see on the world view is reflecting back to us in some way, shape, and form, a condition, and we get to choose to step back and take a breath and realize that these conditions are but that. Now, we teach that the truth is true always, so statements such as all events are neutral sound pretty callous in these situations, does it not? And yet we still need to take a breath, not without compassion, not without love, but to remember that the cause isn't out there. The cause is within. And because we are all connected and we are all brothers and sisters, that the cause must be within each of us, that everything is a hologram for what is within me. And so I consider it my personal task, my personal ministry to look at times. And then from that place of remembering, oh yeah, these are effects, these are conditions. They have roots. They have roots like the weeds that you pull in your garden, and if you just chop off the top, they're gonna pop back up, right? And so we've got something more systemic going on here. And part of what I feel passionate about is not to turn away, but to do what we've been talking about all month, which was to bring all of the pieces of ourselves that we've left out there. Those things that we've disowned, those things that we've criticized, those things that we've judged, people that we've cast out and judged, and somehow be bigger than the condition and the situation. Because it is only by being bigger that we can actually embrace. And when we bring it in and embrace, we bring it to the light, not of our intellect, not of the body mind, but to the light of God and the light of spirit. Because you know what? There is no new day without that. Because our best thinking, our best tactics, our best trying has led to this. And so what I'm saying is that we individually and collectively begin to take a breath, to not react as we normally would, to begin to insert a pause in our normal reactionary state, and to say that which I'm calling hate, if it's fear, then what we teach here is that it's a call for love. So love is still the common denominator, and there is no separation in that. I live in an echo chamber. I live in an echo chamber that feeds back to me exactly what I want to hear, exactly the information that I've sought out previously. It is intelligent and it knows my proclivity, and it feeds it back to me. I'm in that echo chamber, and so are you guys. So are each of you. Our social media is able to track our preferences, track our likes, track our prevailing ideas and conversations, and that this profile then leads to this echo chamber that feeds back to me as a reflective universe that which I am looking for. But it leaves so many gaps. If I'm only looking at what I already think is true, what Claudia or you or the body mind thinks is true, that's why we're in trouble. We have to step out and back and rise. So we're all in this echo chamber, and it's reflecting back to us, calling back to us that which we're calling out. And so what I'm saying is that we need to somehow quiet that chamber and begin to step aside and to step out. And if that means for a time stepping away from the media and from what's going on, then do it, because it's important that we come from a place of wholeness and love within before we engage in the world. Now, there is a thing called chemicalization that we've talked about before, and it's a condition in the mind that is brought about by the conflict that takes place when a high spiritual realization contacts an old error state of consciousness. So you have the old error state of consciousness, and it's touched by a higher new state of consciousness. And it creates an unsettled condition. It creates a disturbance, if you will. It actually resists. And so what I would suggest to us is that we've done our work. We've begun our work, our awakening, but we've only touched the surface. And we've created an environment that, in my opinion, does seem to be more loving And now there's this resistance that is coming about. And we don't answer that with more resistance and with hate. We answer it with love. We answer it by being bigger and rising to the call for love. What I was really inspired by a TED Talk by a man named Theo E.J. Wilson, and it's entitled A Black Man Goes Undercover in the Alt-Right. Check it out. It's actually posted to my Facebook site. But he talks about getting out of his own echo chamber and then experiencing the echo chamber of the alt-right or another thought system. And he talks about how he knew that some of those people were intelligent people and that somehow he must be missing something or they must be missing something. And so who is informing them? And who is informing him as well? You see, we have all of these missing pieces. And what I want to caution us as a community is that we don't move forth by somebody else's agenda. That we have one agenda in its unity and one agenda in that it's of the heart and that it's of love. Theo Wilson calls forth a human upgrade. He calls it a human upgrade, which I thought was an interesting way of saying it, but likening it to the social media and the technology, so that we need this human upgrade and the time is now. And we already have the answer. We already know the answer to be love. And so this is part of what our healing is, because anything that we're seeing, as I said, is a reflection of our own consciousness, so it becomes our call to heal within. So yesterday, a group of individuals went to the Pride Parade, Happy Pride. We were celebrating that. There were, raise your hand if you were there. We had a lot of people there. We had a lot of people. And Matthew brought my boa, which is my annual. We forgot it yesterday, and so we'll have to fix that later. We want to make sure that it's okay for last year. And so, this year, I was concerned. I wondered what would happen there, and would there be hate groups there? And I'm happy to say that there weren't any. It was a joy-filled celebration of love. And unity was there strong, holding signs that said unity, love, LGBTQ. What else do we have? Spirit, joy, peace. And that was our message. That was our message. And I saw Toledo loves love. That's a mural that's down there. Toledo loves love, and I felt that. And it was so much fun. But in my role, I wonder, sometimes, am I taking a side when I do things? And is that okay? But what I know is that what this represents to me is that anytime a group of individuals, a group of people have been discriminated against and then can now walk proud in the downtown streets of Toledo where previously they couldn't, I want to be there. I want to be there. But I also want to do that walk with the people in this country of color. I also want to do that walk with women. I also want to do that walk with all of the groups. So for me, what this movement represents is a movement of love that leads the way for all of us and for all of these pieces that we've set aside that we can bring back to that light, to the light of God. And I'm going to take this off now. That's my prop, but it's hot.
Just like us.
Just like us, right. So I bring that up because, again, when I look at if there is fear in the group, to remember to broaden that, hate to fear to a call for love. And that's what I want us to do. So our reading today was amazing. Thank you, Tony. And I really appreciate you reading that for us. I thought it was kind of a tough reading in a way. And you took it with you, didn't you? That's okay if it's up there. Anyway, last week we were talking about the body and that we are not the body. And that how we tend to attack sickness is to attack sickness. And I had a little video of the whack-a-mole, and that's what we're doing. We do that. We have this board. Are you guys all familiar with whack-a-mole? Anybody not familiar? And okay, so anybody have moles in their backyard? They're all over the place. And the whack-a-mole is like a little mole pops up in this hole, that hole, that hole, that hole, and you have a hammer and you go boom, 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 and it just keeps popping up all over. And I feel like that's what we do as far as healing goes, as far as wholeness. And this still correlates with our topic here, is that we're always trying to impact the effect or the condition instead of looking beneath to the cause. And so what this reading did for us is it made it so very clear. It says the power of decision is our own. It says no one can suffer anything except by his own decision. Now that sounds kind of hard, doesn't it? That sounds hard. No one can grieve nor fear nor think him sick unless these are the outcomes that he wants. And no one dies without his own consent. Nothing occurs but represents your wish, and nothing is omitted that you choose. Here is your world, complete in all details. Here it is whole reality for you. And it is only here that salvation is. So what we teach here is that our thoughts and our thinking and our beliefs are cause. We teach here that the mind connected with the mind of God, which is within you, has the ability to create your experience. And that you can join with that mind in any moment to create an experience of what was always called heaven on earth, heaven here now. Now, where we get in trouble is that the mind of separation comes into play. The ego mind, the mind that is the body mind, comes into play, and it has ideas about separation. And in my opinion, those ideas multiply. Once we start separating, it multiplies. And so it's kind of like a cancer cell. So what a cancer cell is rogue. And what it does is it has forgotten what its purpose was. And then it has the ability to go throughout the body in places where it does not belong and create sickness, tumors, havoc. How different is that from what we're seeing in the world as well? And so we go back to source, to our thoughts and to our thinking, because we are so powerful, folks, that what we made with the separated mind, we can recreate as we join with the mind of God. And so the whack-a-mole is an illustration that we have it backwards, that we keep trying to treat conditions out there which are already done. There are already thought forms that have been out there. And so what we do is we go back to source. We go to the garden. We take a breath. We remember, oh, there's only love. Oh, yeah, it sounds like they hate me. They must be really afraid. It must be some sort of call for love. I am going to anchor that power and presence of love in that situation. As we do that in our life, in our mind, in our world, our body is healthy. Our body is the vehicle that we require it to be in this experience as we do that. So it says that you may believe that this position is extreme and too inclusive to be true. And this is what I really want to say. It ends up saying, accept no opposites to the truth that we speak here. This is a high call, to accept no opposites of truth. If we say there's only God, do we mean it? If we say there's only love and peace, do we mean it? Or is that just something that we say when we come to unity on Sunday? You know? Is that just something that when we hold hands and sing the peace song, but then once we let go of the hand of a brother or sister and we go our way, that we forget about it? And the last one says, love which created me is what I am. And what I said earlier is if we can remember that, our identity, remembering our identity is how we return home and how we heal. And so a new day has come. Thank you for that song. A new day has come. And it's contingent upon all of us joining as brothers and sisters with the desire to see that new day, to make it different than it's been, to bring everything to the light. That's what we've been talking about, bringing it all to the light, and that we're all individually and collectively this kaleidoscope, these little pieces that we bring back. And when we bring it together, it is the light, and it is whole, and it is perfect. And this reading that I read, which leaves no wiggle room whatsoever, is kind of like the totality zone. Have you guys heard of the totality zone? Tony and I are going to leave right after service, and we're going to go to the totality zone. And the totality zone is where there is the full eclipse. So that's happening tomorrow during part of the country. It's going to go through starting in Oregon and then traveling southeast until I think around South Carolina it will go, but it's a total eclipse. Now, has anybody seen a total eclipse here? Anybody? Mike has, Jennifer, Jeff, yeah. So it's rare. It doesn't happen. It happens elsewhere, but it hasn't happened in this country, I think, since '79. The weather wasn't that great then. They believe that this total eclipse is going to be the most viewed ever because of where it's occurring and because of our infrastructure that people are driving, to get there. It's easily accessible. We're doing that. And so what is going to happen is that there is going to be the perfect alignment of the sun, the moon, and the earth during the day, such that the moon eclipses the sun, and it's dark during the day. Tina Louise Spalding, who is channeling Jesus, has invited us to allow this moment in time to be a line of demarcation. I say, let it be the dawning of our new day. The dawning of our new day, where we begin to truly accept no exceptions to the truth. No exceptions to that you are the creator of your experience, to the truth that it is done as you decree, to the truth that you are one with God and that is your identity, to the truth that you have brought forth this experience. Do you know how many people all at once are going to be looking up to the sky? Look up, folks. Wear your glasses, but look up. Look up. Look up. And let this be a line of demarcation for us. Let us be in alignment with Source. Let us be in alignment with our brothers and sisters. Let us be that anchor for love in a world that seems to be at times unpeaceful And let us rise and be bigger so that we can embrace those who somehow feel so afraid and hurt that they would harm another. That's what our call is. Are you willing to enter that totality zone with me? Metaphorically. You're not. I mean, seriously, are you? Are you willing to begin to let no exceptions sidetrack you into being negative and morose and depressed? Are you willing to let no exceptions sidetrack you into negativity or to harm or to attack? Are you willing to get out of the echo chamber, the one that you're in? Anybody? I am. Are you? Anybody willing to get out of the current echo chamber that you're in, to broaden your views so that you may have some understanding maybe that you didn't have before? Are you willing to see beyond separation to union, even in the face of what seems to be unlike it? Are you willing to at least try? Are you? Larry is. Awesome. Thank you, Larry. Tony is. Awesome. Jen, thank you. Are you willing to allow the thought of God to guide you? To maybe have the idea that you don't have the whole picture? Okay? So welcome, you guys. It's, we'll try this maybe again next week, I feel, after the eclipse, but I'm inviting you to be excited. Can we be excited together that we really can be the change, that we really can accept no exceptions to that which is not true? And that's okay if you're hesitant because it's scary and it's unlike what we've known, but would you be willing to expand your mind to maybe be able to be excited about it? Are you willing to perhaps read a book or go to a class so that or read something new or a different thought? So I say that we are each the harbingers of this new day. And I don't know, I just need a little love. Will you guys give me a little love? Will you guys give each other a little bit of love? Is anybody willing to be? I'm going to do it. And you hear it right here, right now. Line of demarcation. I'm going to look up and trust and know that a new day is coming. And that it is now, and it is us. And so it is. Amen.